Hello everyone, this is Crode giving you a shoutcast in a game between Sky versus Uhen here on Bright and Dark. We have Sky spawning as the red human player over here at what I will call, that's actually kind of in the center of the map, what I'll call on the left side of the map. Meanwhile, we have Uhen spawning as the Undead, the blue Undead player over here. Now, one of the reasons why I am casting this game is because it is on Bright and Dark, and it's one of those maps where you don't get to see a lot of games played, and the last time it was played, it was just really interesting. Just runes that were not normally dropped. The speed rune was dropped. You also had the ability to summon units that were normally not summonable after clearing out creeps, and it made for a rather interesting game. We can now see Sky opening up with a pretty standard Altar of Kings. He is speed building that Altar of Kings over here with two peasants. Meanwhile, back over in the base of Uhen opening up with a crypt and an Altar of Darkness. It looks like it will be Death Knight followed by ghouls. Meanwhile, it looks like it will be most likely Archmage followed by footmen. Now, the map is rather large, but the spawning locations are a little bit closer to each other than you would normally think. Because these maps or the spawning locations are not in the far corners of the map, you actually have reason to go deeper inside your base, clearing out perhaps some very high level creep camps that are unfortunately immune to magic. So units trying to do death coils or blizzards are not going to be able to really seriously deal any damage there. As this game does get underway, we'll see what peasants currently just chopping lumber away as this game will get started. What WarCraft 3 games do generally take off a little bit faster than StarCraft 2. We are now just 2 minutes into this game, and we already have some action going down. Militia creeping already coming in with that Archmage, and then most likely we will see that Death Knight make his way out and try to stop that Archmage from really getting that much experience. You can now see the Brood Mother now coming in, Water Elemental coming in as well, and both sides are going to deal a lot of damage. That Brood Mother, as soon as it splits though, will spawn even more spiders, so this is a little bit dangerous as we now see Sky picking up a Troll Shadow Priest. The Brood Mother going to fall, and it will spawn 2 additional spiders, I believe. More spiders were spawned, I think, in this particular situation, unless my eyes are deceiving me, which may be the case, as I don't see that many spiders on the ground. So perhaps the Brood Mothers didn't spawn additional spiders like I originally thought, but we are getting into level 2 on that Archmage. Archmage now at level 2 with that Brilliance Aura will definitely help out that Troll Shadow Priest to get even more mana. Death Knight, on the other hand, Rod and Necromancy, killing some sheep or a pig, not quite sure, now going to pick up some skeletal minions and try to make his way around and deal a little bit more harassment damage. Sky taking the opportunity to just continue to creep, now getting a Manual of Health, that Archmage up to 525 hit points, as we now see a lot of ghouls making their way across the map already. So the Death Knight now I'm trying to get in a little bit of damage, as now we see a middle student, or Sky, trying to clear out the giant spiders over here, the 443 creep camp, but in come a lot of ghouls. The ghouls, however, unable to surround the footmen there, and that is a bit of a surprise, as we are now going to see Sky have to deal with a lot of ghouls. The ghouls are now looking to come in, trying to maximize their damage. The ghouls are going to try to chase after those militia, but the militia are going to be in militia mode for quite a while. Down goes the Troll Shadow Priest. Nice long distance death coil there, as it looks as though the Death Knight did get a little bit of experience so far, but a lot of damage over time being absorbed by all of these footmen because of the creep jack and those creeps. You can now see ghouls once again battling it out, trying to go after some of these units here. A skeletal minion is now coming in, and it looks like the militia will get taken down. One gets taken down. Oh, wait, is it going to get taken down? Finally gets taken down there, as both sides are continuing to fight. Troll Berserker has been added as well, as we now see Sky may be able to get at least halfway to level 2 in just a moment, as we are now still seeing more units continuing to press on. Skeletal minions once again being respawned, I believe. No, not quite yet. Just on cooldown right now. And where is that skeletal minion? Skeletal minion is now coming in. One ghoul down it goes, as the Archmage now dangerously low on hit points, and now using a potion of healing very early on. So far, Sky has taken a lot of damage onto that one Archmage so far, as we now see the skeletal minions all trying to pull back once again. An Abolish Magic, I believe, was used on a skeletal minion to try to deal damage and really push back this attack. Now, more damage is being dealt. Those Troll Berserkers with that range, dealing 28 to 37 damage. Very high damage for such an early unit compared to Footmen and any of those other units. Now, Death Knight dangerously low on hit points, down to 217. Will he be able to really do anything about this, as now the Militia coming in? The Militia do move very, very quickly, and that's going to be bad news for that Death Knight. Death Knight does not have Boots of Speed, does not have Unholy Aura, and somehow able to barely escape, as Sky has bought himself the time to creep out and take down the giant spiders here and perhaps set up an expansion. We can see now what Death Knight looking to perhaps get more skeletal minions, try to apply pressure while the army is away, but there is one arcane tower, and the arcane tower getting in some nice feedback damage onto that Death Knight already, as all of these militia are going to just stay close by, build some towers, and Sky doing pretty much his standard MO, trying to stay in no upkeep, getting a lot of minerals, and then perhaps doing a bit of an engagement, as we now see the Death Knight attempting to pull away. The Death Knight very low on hit points, down to 95, as it now retreats home. Footman now looking to do a bit of scouting, as we can take a look at Uhen. Uhen now upgrading the Black Citadel. He has not started to train his Lich just quite yet, and we are going to be getting into double slaughterhouses, so perhaps some destroyers will be added. Now, taking a look back over here, the Archmage still wandering around in the center of the map. He does have a replenishment potion and is at level 3. Meanwhile, back over here, a skeletal minion attempting to take down some footmen will not be able to do so. Quickly taken out by this Troll Shadow Priest here, as the Archmage now on the far side of the map, on the dark side of the map, I would assume, as the Death Knight now looking to see where it can try to creep. This is going to be a bit of an issue, as we now see the Death Knight still wandering around still. You can now see Footman attempting to take down the Slaughterhouse. The Slaughterhouse is forced to be cancelled, I believe, as the Ghouls are now continuing this attack. The Death Knight does regenerate a lot of hit points while on creep, but this is not enough, and now being forced to run all the way back. There is one Spirit Tower, as the Death Knight down to 30 hit points here. Is it going to be enough? It looks like that Footman is going to be dangerously low on hit points, and now this Death Knight quickly buying a potion of healing. But this is going to be really bad news once more, as now we see the Water Elemental joining in on the fight. Black Citadel not upgraded to tier 3 yet, so no Cold Tower, as we should be getting an Obsidian statue out in just a moment. The Obsidian statue really needed to try to heal up and keep this army alive. The statue taking a lot, the Slaughterhouse taking a lot of damage, as the Ghouls are now engaging. Water Elemental should be able to drop in another Water Elemental in just a moment there, as a Footman able to escape at 112 hit points, and Uhen really not doing a good job either killing units or keeping units alive. Another skeletal minion down, as Sky now running on 2 bases, gonna get a lot of gold. Lich is out. The Lich does not have an Orb of Corruption just quite yet. Gonna focus down some of those Footmen. Footman is dangerously low. We can now see Acolytes coming over to repair as well, as we do see the Troll Shadow Priest has been taken down. The Lich now regenerating some of that mana. It looks like one of those Footmen will get taken down as well, but it was by the tower, not getting any experience, as now Uhen being forced to pull all the way back once again. Those Water Elementals really trying to give chase, as the Ghouls are now going to simply perhaps be able to just surround those Water Elementals. One Water Elemental will go down to timer. The other Water Elemental, a Lich now getting off the final shot off there, and this Water Elemental looks like it will get taken down as well. And I think Sky is really overextending his stay, losing another Water Elemental there, and now starting to give a lot of experience to the other army. Now a nice surround coming in from the Lich after a Frost Nova. Abolish Magic trying to come in as well, but the Archmage down to 391 hit points. There it goes. It will be forced to use a Scroll of Town Portal, and there he does finally retreat. Ghouls are now being added, or Ghouls are still being healed back up. Where is that Death Knight? Death Knight still sitting at level 1. Lich having a little bit more experience, I think. Yes, actually having more experience than that Death Knight. Both heroes, if they creep out a green creep camp, should get to level 2. And I would highly recommend that at this stage in the game, as the Archmage needs to pick up some new items, has a Boot of Speed, getting a Scroll of Healing as well, as that Water Elemental doing its job, tanking all of that damage. A couple units may get lost here, as we now finally see Uhen creeping out with a level 2 Death Knight and a level 2 Lich. There is that Orb of Corruption, very nice item. Circlet of Nobility most likely will be picked up by the Death Knight. There it goes, as the units are now rolling out. There is a couple shops over here as well. One shop, one goblin merchant shop here, another goblin merchant shop here. Overlords are guarding that location as we now see that the Death Knight needs to figure out what his long-term strategy and goal is. Double obsidian statues means that he will be able to regenerate hit points and mana fairly easily, as we now see the rogue water elementals now coming in for a creep jack here, and a lot of damage is being dealt. The obsidian statues do not have destroyer form yet to devour. Nope, they do have enough to devour, and now going to be dealing a lot of damage to those water elementals. Water elemental already getting taken down, and we may get a second one. No, the destroyer up in the air, and now going to try to focus down those footmen. Those footmen are going to be in a bit of trouble, but we already have riflemen joining in on the fight. One rifleman, the rifleman not focusing onto the, no, it is focusing onto the destroyer, but it will still get taken down as the destroyer is able to get in some more hits, followed by that Death Knight. Archmage sitting at level 3, almost level 4, doesn't really have any options for any sort of push, doesn't have a really large army. As we now see Sky, is he building anything inside his base just quite yet? No, he is at keep. He is not getting up a second hero at all. As we now still see a Troll Shadow Priest here. Is it going to be able to run away is the question, as the destroyer now trying to catch up to it. The Troll Shadow Priest is heavily armored, meaning that it takes more damage from magic. See here, taking a look, we see the Death Knight still wandering around here. Also, we can see what a water elemental trying to focus down a couple of those ghouls back over here. So a minimal harassment strategy, but Sky cannot overstay his welcome. But in come a very large army and a large group of units. It looks as though Uhen is not ready for this. He's just trying to creep out, trying to get higher up. He is going to be able to pick up a Rune of the Watcher, though. So a very nice item by Uhen to be able to keep track of what's going on the south side of the map, as another obsidian statue is going to get canceled by the slaughterhouse, as it will get taken down in just a moment. Altar of Darkness, both players sitting at 40, or sorry, Uhen sitting at 48 over 50. Sky sitting at 47 over 54, as we are now going to be pressing in, and we do have a lot of Death Knights rushing into this location here. What is happening? Now going to be going after those guard towers. One guard tower going to get quickly taken down by the destroyers. A second guard tower going to get taken down very quickly as well. Another guard tower taken down. As what is happening here, and then in comes the fight from the back. There is a very low hit point destroyer, I believe. I believe that's a destroyer. Why is that destroyer even in this fight? That is a bad place for that destroyer to be. But it looks as though the destroyer does have some mana still and may be able to get off a Frost Nova. It looks as though the Mountain King down to 387, 350. There's another Frost Nova there, and another hit and another round of attack, and a potion of invulnerability transferred. Beautifully done by Sky to keep his unit alive there, as we now see the Death Knight trying to push in, and that is just way too many towers for any of these destroyers to really deal that much damage. We can see an obsidian statue should start to heal up the party once again. The destroyer down to 83 hit points, not regenerating anything at all, as we are now going to battle it out still. Destroyer up to 97, 107 hit points. It looks like it will stay alive. A little bit of a misplay by Sky by not taking out that 5 food unit there. Upgrades on those destroyers are currently sitting at 1-1. Meanwhile, we are going to have another Creepjack, Mountain King, and Archmage level 3, level 1. Sky has not done any additional creeping or damage since the last time I mentioned the Archmage's level, so that is going to be a definite issue. Is Sky going to be able to get back in? It looks as though the Undead starting to gather up a lot of momentum, and once the momentum is gathered, the Undead army is so deadly, especially with level 5 and level 4 heroes, that those nukes just become so powerful. There's a Death Coil finishing it off, as Sky may end up losing this Mud Golem as well. That Mud Golem taking an additional 27% damage per attack because of that Orbo Corruption, and it gets quickly taken down. Down over here, the Archmage looking to perhaps try to creep. There are some Blood Fiends and a Draenei Seer as well, as we now see a couple ensnares go down on those destroyers. Destroyers do not have that much mana. No mana at all to talk about, as we now see that the Mountain King and Archmage do notice that there is no base over here. And what is this gonna be? It looks as though Sky may try to clear out this mercenary camp and then take down this demonic gate and do a bit of creeping, but unbeknownst to him, he already has an attack outside his base trying to take down that Altar of Kings. The Paladin is trying to be resurrected, or trying to be trained, and that's going to be really bad news here. You can see a lot of damage is being dealt. No Frost Novas, though, coming into Lich, as another statue coming over here as well. What's going to be happening? A Frost Nova, the Paladin does make its way out, and it looks like a Ghoul will get taken down by a tower here, as this mercenary camp has been destroyed or cleared out. Altar of Kings no longer being repaired. It looks like it will get destroyed in just a moment. But the Paladin is already out, as we do have the trifecta Paladin, Mountain King, and Archmage out in the field. Destroyers are now simply going after those towers. Towers are getting demolished in just a matter of seconds because of that magic damage there. Guard towers going down left and right, but we do have an army inside the base here. Double spirit towers plus a black citadel, causing a bit of issues though, as that is going to be a lot of damage to be had. You can see the 27 to 32 damage, more damage being dealt against the Acolytes, and this is turning into a base race. And right now, Sky still has more buildings. You can see that there is also going to be another guard tower taken down over here. As what is happening, Death Knight now at level 4, Lich at level 4. Lich with plus 22 attack. Wow, so that Lich, essentially, you do not want to get hit by that Lich at all. That Lich dealing so much damage. And now you're going to see these town portals cross in the middle of the day. Down they go, and I do believe, yes, there was some Devour Magics going down onto all of those units, as Acolytes are now being retrained, and more gold should be harvested in just a moment. Now, Obsidian Statues, the Destroyers are upgraded 2-2. That is very heavy damage, and that means that we need to start seeing Dragon Hawks out in just a moment, or perhaps more Riflemen. Flying Machines also work out well, but the problem is if they engage while the Destroyers have mana, those Destroyers deal that splash damage, which is just so difficult to combat and just fight against. All the Destroyers are back over here. I believe the Flak Cannons have been researched. The upgrades are at 1-0 right now. As how is this all going to work out? Are we going to perhaps get... there's a Death Coil. They're trying to save that low hit point unit, and now able to continue this fight back even further. Perhaps we will see a Panda picked up in order to get Breath of Fire to counter all of those Flying Machines. Flying Machines, very low hit point units. Massive AoE, really devastating here, as we are now going to see even more Skeletal Minions get destroyed, Peons get destroyed, as the fight once again ensues. There you go, another Scroll of Town Portal being used, and all of these armies are just crossing in the middle, but 2 more Footmen have been taken out as well. Lich at level 4. Death Knight, I believe, is at level 4, as it is a little bit behind in terms of experience. 1 Rune of the Watcher still down over here. No Rune of the Watcher here for some odd reason, as we are now going to get even more creeping coming in. No, a Footman just quickly taken down. Not quite sure what the Water Elemental really wants to do right here. It is a 6-3-3 creep camp. The Mountain King only at level 1, as Sky's in a bit of trouble, and now Uhen may get to level 5 on both of his heroes, and a Pendant of Energy on the Death Knight. That is going to be very powerful as well, as Death Knight is going to have a lot of mana for Death Coils, keeping his army alive and making sure units don't escape. Flying Machines and a squadron of them are on the move. We'll see how all of this works out here in just a moment, as you can now see what the Destroyers are trying to make sure that they are not in the same group, not close by, making sure to minimize the damage on those Flak Cannons, and now running straight in or flying straight in to take down all of these Peasants. Peasants all quickly destroyed here. Down they go, and now Sky is going to be running off of 1 base, but he does have that human tri-hero. Mountain King at level 2, Paladin at level 1 still. Archmage at level 4 does have a Staff of Sanctuary now to try to save his units. It looks as though this castle will get taken down in just a matter of seconds. Destroyers do not deal that much damage against this, as now the Destroyers are going to come in, and it looks as though the Destroyer taking a lot of damage there, but another Flying Machine has been taken down. This one Lich dealing 22 damage and also removing 5 armor, just dealing massive damage here, but 1 Destroyer may get taken down over here. No, it does not get taken down, as the Lich unable to really deal that much damage at all, and still dealing a lot of damage and taking down multiple Flying Machines. The Flying Machines, even with Flak Cannons, unable to counter these Destroyers, as they are just simply too spread apart, and especially with 9 armor. 9 armor, reducing that damage by 35. We'll see how all of this works out, as the Death Knight now up to almost 400 mana, as Peasants are now making their way down, and this is just lambs to the slaughter. Peasants thinking that they want to win the war, not able to, and now free experience for the Death Knight and the Lich here. Level 5 on the Lich, level 3 Frost Nova, and that is going to be very chilling. Death Knight now making their way off to the north. No additional units down over here at all, as we are now going to have those flying machines once again try to push in. Does the Death Knight get level 5? No, it does not. Still just slightly shy, as we are now sitting on a level 5 Lich and a level 4 Death Knight. Another destroyer now up in the air and now going after the towers. One tower going to get taken down. There it goes. Another tower may get taken down, and that should give level 5 to the Death Knight. That is going to start causing problems. No, this will give level 5 to the Death Knight. That will start causing problems there. There you go. Finally, level 5 as the Death Knight now death coiling and healing all of his destroyers. The tower after tower getting taken down, but it looks like one does get destroyed. Are we going to see perhaps a Frost Nova anywhere, unable to really deal that much damage, and the flying machines simply outnumbering the destroyers finally, and the flying machines are finally taking their toll. A Scroll of Talent Portal finally, and also getting that return. There goes another destroyer, as the Lich is dangerously low on hit points, and now the Mountain King at level 3, the Paladin at level 2, Divine Shield being used, a Stormbolt, followed by a Scroll of Talent Portal. Lich needs to stay close by, gets another Frost Nova off onto that Mountain King. But this is bad news for Uhen. Uhen has taken a lot of damage, and he doesn't have that many slaughterhouses, but he has transitioned into the Boneyard for Frostworms. So yes, it is going to be Boneyard with Frostworms, and the Frostworms are going to be even more deadly, as they are able to deal, I believe, splash damage to those flying machines. Death Knight sitting at level 5, Lich sitting at level 5. They are only going to be creeping for gold. They cannot get any more experience whatsoever. Are they going to try to creep out? No, they are not creeping out these back locations here, as flying machines do not have any ground attack yet. They do not have those bombs that are researchable, as we now see the flying machines once again pulling away. Taking a look down over here, Death Knight still on the run, and we do have a Dark Ranger, so interesting choice, a Dark Ranger as the third hero. Silence, most likely used in order to shut down that human tri-hero, as the Draenei Seer looks to get taken down, and another Pendant of Energy. So the Death Knight now up to 600 mana. Someone should tell that Death Knight that he is in fact not an intelligence hero. Perhaps giving that additional energy over to the Lich would be a better choice, as the Lich will burn through much of that energy or mana very, very quickly with that very expensive Frost Nova spell. Scroll of Talent Portal, potion a lesser invulnerability, double energy, 375 mana, 390 mana there, just constantly being used, as we are now going to have an engagement. That Frostworm may get off a shot. No, it doesn't look like it. The Frostworm not moving just quite fast enough, even with Unholy Aura. We do have a Shade down over here, keeping track of this army and this build, as we now see some peasants attempting to harvest lumber. Death Knight now at 800 hit points as this battle does ensue, and now we can see Sky finally moving to try to take down these gates and do a bit more creeping. This camp over here most likely will get cleared out in just a matter of seconds. More peasants. Oh, the peasants were not taken down, as most likely Uhen unsure of where his opponent is. Now, level 3 on the Paladin will be coming online in just a moment. Level 5 on the Archmage, maybe if they creep out that red creep camp to the north. Mountain King sitting at level 3. There's level 3. So 4-3-3 currently going on, as we now see that the Workshop will get taken out. If the Workshop gets taken out, no more flying machines, meaning that those Frostworms and those Destroyers will be able to deal a lot more damage. Still trying to deal more damage here. You can see that the Lich could perhaps try to get in some more Frost Novas, dealing some damage into this mineral line. One Frost Nova taking down 4 peasants there. Brilliantly done, as it looks as though this Workshop will be destroyed as well. We can see that counterattack coming out. Archmage sitting at level 4, and now in comes the flying machines. Flying machines focusing down all of those units here, and now in comes the Thunderclap as well. No silence at all. So with no silence, all of those units still able to deal so much of that damage. And now, still, fly machines are falling. Lich is down to a very low hit points. Potion of Lesser Invulnerability not used. Oh, it is used just in time, as the Death Knight needs to perhaps get off a Death Coil, and he does save it. And now, what's going to happen here? The Paladin is low on hit points. Is it going to be able to heal up anything else? That is the key question. And now, the Death Knight down to 400 hit points. There is another Frost Nova. There's a Death Coil. There's a Paladin. Holy Light trying to keep it back up still. A Stormbolt may be coming in, but no Stormbolt, and there's a Divine Shield and a Holy Light. onto the Death Knight and brilliantly played, as I believe that will be the game. So, a very, very crucial game going back and forth, but ultimately, Sky able to take down the Death Knight, even though the Death Knight did have a Scroll of Town portal, and I believe that was a mistake there, as Uhen loses the Sky on Bright and Dark. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay here on WarCraft Wednesday. I do have some other games to cast for you if I can find their maps.